Hello everyone and welcome back to another very interactive chess game. So if you are not living under the rock, you already know that Gukesh became the youngest world chess champion by defeating Liren. Congratulations to Gukesh. He is only 18 years old, but he became the world chess champion. An incredible success, of course, an incredible victory. So I'm going to do my own personal coverage of this World Chess Championship match. I'm only going to show few interactive chess games of this match. So Liren was the reigning World Chess Champion, and this was a very interesting game, a shocking game of the match. So let's see what happened. This is from round 11. So Gukesh from India starts the game with knight to f3, and we have d5, and this was the Reti opening, and he played unusual c4. The more normal approach would be d4, of course. So we have d4. If capturing the pawn, queen to a4 is possible. So is e3, attacking the pawn. And white is going to get back the pawn. So we have d4, and then b4 by Gukesh, clamping on c5. And he can also fianchetto the bishop on b2. So that is also available. So we have c5. And then e3, we have knight to f6. So if d3, I think white can play pawn takes pawn and then queen to b3. And how to defend this pawn? It is going to fall eventually. So we have e3 charging to the pawn, developing the knight, and then a3, bishop to g4, pinning the knight, e takes on d4, c takes on d4, and then asking a question, capturing the knight, giving up the bishop, and then white is attacking on b7, so defending. And we have d3. Later chess experts and also the chess engine was suggesting c5, and this move would be a pretty good move for white. White can also develop the bishop. So this seems like a pretty good position for white. But we have d3. This is not a bad move as well. But it is blocking the bishop, so it's a little slow, actually slower move than c5. I think Mikhail Tal would push the c pawn, for example. So we have a5, and you can see that white haven't developed his queenside pieces, and the threat is pawn takes pawn, and this pawn is going to be pinned. So b5, and then developing the knight g3, so planning to fianchetto the bishop, knight to c5, bishop to g2 as expected, and then knight from f to d7. Actually, bishop to g2 was a very good move by Gukesh, because if knight to b3, it looks like this is forking the rook and the bishop, and there is no defense. But then, this was his idea, queen takes on b7, queen takes on b7, defending the rook. This is just one possibility. Then we have check, and white is basically creating two connected pass pawns, and white is going to win. So white is going to maybe win. White has very good chances. So bishop to b2, giving up the exchange, but again white has two connected pass pawns and also attacking the pawn. So this is a very good position for white, and white is also a pawn up. Let's not forget that. So basically Gukesh is attempting to sacrifice the exchange. So we have knight back by Liren, and then castling knight to e5, queen to f4, pinning the knight and attacking on d4. So defending with the rook, rook to d1, and still the knight is pinned. So if knight takes, rook takes knight, and if knight takes, then queen takes queen. So the knight is still pinned. g6, which was not a bad move, but the experts suggests e7 and then bishop to d6, and white might have a difficult position because black is threatening all kinds of discover attacks to the queen, and it is going to be a difficult position. So we have g6, a4, h5. Obviously Liren is planning to play bishop to h6, and it looks like the queen doesn't have much space. It looks like at this moment, because the queen is a little bit stuck, and it also looks like Gukesh might be in trouble, but Watch this move. A punch in the face, b6, and Gukesh D is fighting back. This looks like a punch when he was on the ropes in a boxing contest. So what a fight. And black has to defend the knight, so queen to d6. If queen takes pawn, queen takes knight. So we have bishop to a3, pinning the knight and also developing the bishop finally. Bishop to h6, and then in between move, bishop takes knight. So for saving the queen, queen takes on c5, and then saving the queen, queen to e4. And we can say that white actually has a pretty good looking position right now. So black also haven't castled. So knight to c6, blocking the queen and looking at a b4 with the knight, and also blocking the queen. And Liren is planning to capture the pawn as well. So we have knight to a3, rook to d7, knight to c2. So Liren is playing quite ambitiously. It looks like he's also defending the pawn, and he still haven't castled. So queen takes on b2, queen takes on b6. Although black is a pawn up, white has this open b file. So the b file is open, and this looks like it could be dangerous for black. So rook over, queen to c7, and rook to b5, and finally Liren castled. Knight to a1, rook over, so holding on to the pawn, and knight is getting in, planning to play knight to c5, so e6, and simply knight to c5, defending the rook and doubling the rooks on the b file. So this looks like a fruitful, appetizing position for white, and actually defending this pawn is not so easy, and this was actually the critical moment of this chess game because Liren was suffering because of time pressure. I didn't watch the match live actually, but I heard that he was suffering because of time pressure at this moment of the match. So there was a very simple, obvious move, but even if he had played that move, his position is not perfect. So knight to b4 should have been considered in this position, but still knight takes on b7, and white is doing excellent. So if knight takes on b7, if rook takes, I mean, basically white is doing okay, actually. Okay, so bishop to g7 is also possible, but if black captures the knight with the rook, let's say, then simply rook takes, queen takes, rook takes, bishop takes, and this is winning, of course, for white. But anyway, in this position, Liren played queen back to c8, and this was a blunder of epic proportions, and this was probably one of the worst blunders in the history of the World Chess Championship of chess in a World Chess Championship match. So maybe 100 years later or something, people are going to talk about this incredible blunder of Liren. He made this blunder because of time pressure, of course. He is an incredibly strong chess player. But again, in this position, he should have considered knight to b4, and he has a good position, but white's position is preferable because knight takes pawn is possible. But with playing this move, is, I think, thinking to defend on b7, so moving the queen away and defending the pawn 2 times with the rooks. But this was a blunder. So you probably saw the winning continuation, winning move for white. What would you do in this position if you haven't seen the move? You probably already know the move, but I'm asking this question to the people who haven't seen the winning move for white. Okay, queen takes knight. And Liren resigned immediately. He resigned on the spot in a second. Unbelievable. Because the possible continuation, if capturing the queen, rook takes rook, pinning the queen to the king, and winning the game very easily. And if queen takes queen, it is also very simple. Bishop takes queen, pawn takes bishop, rook takes rook, and white is a piece up. What do you think about this chess game? What an incredible blunder by Liren. So, okay, thank you so much for watching. And I might also show a few other chess games from this match. And have a great rest of the weekend. Stay safe, take care, and bye-bye.